Good morning, I'm Craig Negrelli. It's Thursday, May 29th, 2025, and these are your Unbiased Updates. Chickening out or good negotiating? A federal court slaps down President Trump's latest tariffs, saying they're not an emergency. So are they dead or just delayed? Plus, Elon Musk bows out. Trump's top disruptor says he's done with D.C. and back to working 24/7. His blunt take on burnout and the billion-dollar question he's still dodging. And student visas in the crosshairs. Thousands of Chinese students could be forced off American campuses. Why the State Department says it's a matter of national security. The stories that matter, clear and credible, from across the country to around the world. These are your Unbiased Updates from Straight Arrow News. The Trump administration is appealing a federal court ruling that blocked key pieces of the president's Liberation Day tariff plan. Just hours after a three-judge panel said the sweeping 10% reciprocal tariffs exceeded presidential authority, the appeal was filed. The court found Donald Trump's move to slap tariffs on China, Canada, Mexico, and others, invoked through the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, did not meet the legal definition of an emergency, calling it a trade issue that should go through Congress. Right now, many of Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariffs are on hold as he tries to negotiate more equitable trade deals with other countries. It's another setback in a pattern. Big tariff announcements, stock market shock, then walkbacks. Some analysts now call them taco tariffs, as in Trump always chickens out. When asked yesterday at the White House, the president blasted the question as nasty, insisting it's just negotiation.
Mr. President, Wall Street analysts have coined a new term called the taco trade. They're saying Trump always chickens out on your tariff threats, and that's why markets are higher this week. What's your response to that?
6 months ago, this country was stone cold dead. We had a dead country. We had a country people didn't think it was going to survive, and you ask a nasty question like that. It's called negotiation, but don't ever say what you said. That's a nasty question.
This all comes as the Trump administration has halted some American tech exports to China, including jet engines, semiconductors, and industrial materials, in retaliation for Beijing's mineral restrictions. The move could strain supply chains and stall ongoing trade talks, which are under a 90-day ceasefire meant to wind down the tariff war. Washington had Elon Musk for 130 days. He says that was plenty. The billionaire who once called himself President Trump's first buddy is stepping away from his government role, ending his stint as a special employee after leading the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Musk posted the news on X, thanking Trump for the opportunity, but in a CBS interview yesterday, he took a swipe at the big, beautiful spending bill, calling it a deficit driver that undercuts everything DOGE was trying to do. Behind the scenes, Musk has been frustrated, boxed out of big deals, clashing with cabinet members, and watching his sweeping spending cuts shrink by the week. Now he says he's heading back to business, specifically SpaceX, Tesla, and XAI. But the billion-dollar question, will he still pour money into political groups controlled by the president? So far, that $100 million pledge is just that, a pledge. In a move sure to raise tensions, the U.S. State Department is pulling Chinese student visas. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the Trump administration will aggressively revoke visas for Chinese nationals, especially those with ties to the Communist Party or studying in so-called critical fields. The policy is already sparking backlash from Beijing and panic on American campuses, where Chinese students make up nearly a quarter of all foreign enrollment. The move comes as tensions rise over trade, tech, and elite universities, with the administration also pausing all new student visa interviews, despite a federal judge ordering them yesterday to lift part of that immigration freeze. Critics say it's a politically driven move that could backfire, both diplomatically and financially, hitting U.S. research and higher education where it hurts. But Rubio calls it a move to enhance national security, and President Trump has stated he wants to be sure foreign students love our country. The Trump administration says it is willing to fly a migrant back into the United States after a judge ruled his deportation violated due process. The man, identified only by his initials, was deported last year after illegally entering the U.S. and filing for asylum. A judge later ruled he would face serious harm if sent back to Guatemala and ordered him not to be removed. But federal officials put him on a bus to Mexico anyway. From there, he was sent to Guatemala. The judge says his pleas for help were ignored and that the removal, quote, lacked any semblance of due process. The DOJ is arranging a charter flight to bring him back. All this comes as Axios reports the administration aims to put the pedal to the metal with deportations, with a new target of 3,000 arrests per day. In the Middle East, Israel says it will formalize 22 new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank, including outposts previously built without government approval. The move expands Israel's footprint in the region it captured during the 1967 Six-Day War. Most of the international community considers the settlements as illegal and a major obstacle to peace. More than 500,000 Israelis now live in settlements across the West Bank, alongside 3 million Palestinians living under Israeli military control. The UN's top court ruled last year that Israel's presence in the territories is unlawful and called for a halt to settlement expansion. Israel rejected that ruling, insisting the land is part of its historic homeland. Finally this morning, the Oklahoma City Thunder are headed back to the NBA Finals for the first time in over a decade. The Thunder dominating the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals on Wednesday night, 124-94. The franchise now has its first championship since 1979 when they were the Seattle Supersonics. Yes, I do remember that. They had a star player, a guy by the name of Spencer Haywood. He used to score like 40 points a night. Anyways, can the Thunder take home the overall win? That remains to be seen. The matchup for the final game has not yet been set. They will play the winner of the Indiana-New York Knicks series. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tips off next Thursday, June 5th. Right now, the Pacers are just one win away from their first trip to the NBA Finals in more than 2 decades. But even with a 3-1 lead going into Game 5, the Knicks could still rally and take the Eastern Conference. We'll see. As they say, the Garden in New York will be rocking tonight. And you knew I was going to get a hockey plug in, didn't you? The Florida Panthers won last night, the Eastern Conference. They're going to the Stanley Cup Final for the 3rd year in a row, looking to win hockey's holy grail yet again. Wow. Those are your unbiased updates for this Thursday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.